This is a new bird.
Yay!
Okay.
We have a new bird. Yay!
Well, the birds that we're banding here are cave swallows. If you're managing a species, one of the things you need to know is where do they breed and where do they winter and what's the area they go between the two. My name is Steve West, and I'm the staff scientist for the New Mexico Wilderness Alliance. One of the things I've been interested in for over 30 years, of course, is the swallow banding, and that brings up a connection with caves, and I often wonder, what are the Brokeoffs all about? This road forms the eastern boundary of the wilderness study area, and this is our wilderness proposal over here, La Paloma Canyon. The Brokeoff Mountains are a range of mountains in southeastern New Mexico. Lincoln National Forest, Carlsbad Caverns National Park, and Guadalupe Mountains National Park are all part of that.
Starting from the bottom down there, all the way up to that top line, there are more caves and rock shelters than I could count.
The Brokeoffs are part of a wilderness study area. They've already done about half of it, and our concern is the other half of those mountains. My name is Dan LeClaire. I'm a retired teacher, and I live in Carlsbad, New Mexico.
Absolutely.
Oh, God. We believe that all of the Brokeoffs should be in that wilderness study area.
And if you think we've seen some wild canyons so far, just take a little hike along this ridge sometime and you'll see what the best definition of a wild canyon is. They're probably the most unknown piece of mountain in the state of New Mexico, and there's no telling what we'll find.
The wildlife you'll see out there, the Great Canyons.
Probably one of the last areas in southeast New Mexico and this part of Texas that looks the way it looked 150 years ago. My name is Will Law. I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Coming from Florida to New Mexico, I was startled because I came from a place of large flowers, big trees, lots of big wildlife. And it took me a long time to understand that everything here is small. The smallest bug, the smallest flower, snakes, you really have to develop an eye to see this. I think what a lot of people see when they come here is a big empty wasteland. It's not an empty wasteland. It's actually a very fragile environment. It takes hundreds of years for this to recover from any damage that we do.
If you fly into El Paso, you would notice that on both sides of the road, there are huge quarries. And what were, when I was a child, were great mountains, are now molehills. And I can see that same sort of thing being done with the Brokeoffs.
The Brokeoffs have watercourses that are pristine and that haven't been impacted yet. And I think there's a high risk of this area, if it doesn't become a wilderness area, being developed by the oil industry.
My name's Judy Kalman. I'm the staff attorney for the New Mexico Wilderness Alliance in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If an area is not administratively or congressionally protected, it's open to grazing, it's open to mining claims, it's open to oil and gas leasing, and it would be open to off-highway vehicle use. This is not to say that people shouldn't use public land, because public land is there for the public and we own it. But if there is something special about a piece of land, the BLM should make sure that when humans go in and use the piece of public land, that they're not harming that value.
And then back up in this canyon from that point down there,
Right.
gives you another perspective on the caves and rock shelters.
Most of the Brokeoffs are owned by the Bureau of Land Management. There is some state land, a little bit of private land, but the overwhelming majority is public land. If you're a potato farmer in Maine and you've never been west of the Mississippi, you own this land just as much as somebody who's ranching it right now. There's so many misconceptions about the Wilderness Act. I've usually got a copy of it in my car so that if I'm out in the field and run into somebody and they say something, I'll pull it out and say, well, actually, this is what it says.
Last time we were out there, I talked to a certain rancher whose family had been on the land for 103 years. That's the sort of thing we're trying to preserve.
It does not involve confiscation of land. It does not involve removal of cattle. It doesn't take anything away from anybody. Anything that you can do in the Brokeoffs right now, you'll still be able to do when it's wilderness.
I do think that the Brokeoffs merit Lands of Wilderness Characteristics designation. All of our studies have indicated that it's ecologically very special.
This is a great land here. The only problem with it is there's so much to do.
If you're really into mountain climbing,
It's It's a turkey vulture, Dan.
If you are a hiker with an extreme sense of adventure, the Brokeoffs are the place to be. It's breathtaking, truly breathtaking.